Welcome to the Wednesday meditation. Meditation is so important in your life. Every morning when you wake up early or late at night, if you just put on some music that stimulates you, that's holy, that makes you feel connected to God, some kind, like there's so many things like on the television, they've got different areas where there's just music, and on your computer or cell phone, and you just sit there and you do like 20 minutes of silence before you start your day or before you go to sleep. You'll see a change in your life that will be so important at this time. There's so much madness going on in the world, and we need to be centered. So that's why we do this service on Wednesday, and we've done it ever since we got into the work. We were part of the Edgar Cayce Foundation in New York City, and we would go there every Wednesday and meditate. And so Wednesday's been a very important time in our life for meditation. So we're going to do a chant. It's going to be a call and response. And just relax and sing with me. Spread over us, spread over us, spread over us, spread over us, wings of your peace, wings of your peace, wings of your peace, wings of your peace, spread over us, spread over us, wings of your peace, wings of your peace, spread over us, spread over us, wings of your love, wings of your love, spread over us, spread over us, wings of your love, wings of your love. For with you is the source of light. 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 In your light we see light. In your light do we see light. In your light do we see light. In your light do we see light. We see light, we see light, we see light, we see light. You are in the water, you are in are in the mountains. You are in the mountains. You are in the earth. You are in the earth. You are in all people. You are in all people. You are in all creatures. You are in all creatures. Spread over us. Spread over us. Wings of your light. Wings of your light. Spread over us. Spread over us. Wings of your love. Wings of your love. For with you is the source of light. For with you is the source of light. For with you is the source of love. For with you is the source of love. In your love do we see light. 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 We see light. We see light. We see love. We see love. We see peace. We see peace. We see light. We see light. Spread over us. Spread over us. Wings of your peace. Wings of your peace. Spread over us. Spread over us. Wings of your peace. Wings of your peace. Spread over us. Spread over us. Wings of your peace. Wings of your peace. For with you is the source of light. For with you is the source of light. For with you is the source of love. For with you is the source of love. In your light do we see light. 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 We see light. We see light. We see love. We see love. We see light. We see light. We see love. We see love. We see light. We see light. We see love. We see love. We see light. We see light. We see love. We see love. We see kindness. We see peace. We see light. We see love. We see kindness. We see peace. We see light. We see love. We see kindness. We see people. We see love. We see creatures. We see mountains. We see earth. We see light. We see love. We see love. We see love. We see love.
Good evening, everyone. Henry David Thoreau, one of the early transcendental guru sages, stated, "Most people live lives of quiet desperation." And that is probably true. But today, people's desperation isn't so quiet. As we enter the 8th month of the coronavirus pandemic and the restrictions on our lifestyles that we've had to endure in order to deal with this pandemic. So there are now millions and millions of people out of work. There are multi-millions of people who can't pay their rent, and businesses going out of business. And there are, and this is almost hard to believe, there are multi-thousands, perhaps millions of people waiting on lines to get food from one of the volunteer organizations that is gathering food. Could we ever believe that that could take place in the richest country in the world? Especially when you think about the money that has been spent on this presidential campaign. It's astronomical. We may have run into the billions for this presidential campaign. And yet, our government, the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, is stalled on producing a stimulus package to aid those who are in the greatest need. Our government. Fortunately, we have these amazing volunteers and volunteer organizations stepping up to gather food and other necessities for people that are really just about to fall through the cracks. And it's interesting that such volunteers seem to have gotten the truth that was related by the Master of Life 2,000 years ago. And you can read this truth in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 23, starting with verse 8. And it goes like this. But you are not to be called Rabbi, for you have one teacher, and you are all brethren. And call no man your father on earth, for you have one Father, who is in heaven. This, of course, is just one of the many declarations of oneness that the Master has made and is recorded in our Gospels. But you are not to be called Rabbi, which would be interpreted best as exalted teacher, for you have one teacher, and you are all brethren. And call no man your father on earth, for you have one Father, who is in heaven. So this is an interesting way to relate the oneness. When we talk about volunteers stepping up to try to meet the astronomical needs now of people who are really suffering because they haven't got enough money to pay rent or buy food for their families, etc. Oh, and by the way, while I'm talking about this, you know, we have food barrels that we have out in front of the church every day, and you can drive by if you want to donate some food. We ship it immediately over to this food bank over here that's on Valmont, and they distribute it. So if you've got some food you'd like to donate, those barrels are out front, except in the inclement weather. If we have rain or snow, those barrels will be inside the doors. So you can come over and open the door and probably see the barrels right in the lobby. But we've been doing that now almost since the pandemic began, supplying, you know, people have been very generous in supplying food that can be given to those in need. But it's interesting that there are still those who are so isolated from the truth of our interconnectedness as brothers and sisters of the one life energy, brothers and sisters of the one life intelligence that the Master referred to as our Father. Do you know that statement right there, with the most famous prayer that came when the disciples asked him to teach us to pray. And Jesus said, don't be like the Pharisees, making a lot of words, and don't pray in the marketplace for people to see you, but go into your silent place, your closet, and pray in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. Therefore, pray like this, our Father. That statement, by the way, opened the historical doors to his being arrested, falsely accused, and crucified. Because when he said, our Father, it included every living person on the face of the earth. And that was not something that the Pharisees and hypocrites of that historic period wanted to hear, because from their perspective, they were the chosen people. And so when he said, our Father, he should have said it in such a way that he was intimating only the Hebrew people. But the way he was saying it in the actual Aramaic meant that everyone born on this earth is born of the one Father who is in heaven. And so that was the opening for him to be at odds with those who wanted to take him out of business altogether. So we see this taking place down through the ages, there are so many people still alienated. They simply can't grasp that we are all human beings on a very fragile, tiny planet. And it shouldn't be too difficult for us to recognize that we could get along with each other and care for each other in a meaningful manner, so that our government wouldn't be in opposition even to the needs of the people, but it would truly be a government of the people and by the people and for the people. But that's not the case, we know that. So here we have this incredible truth. You're all brethren, you have one Father. You're all one in truth, interconnected with one another. And the ideal that is presented there, shifts us completely from the illusionary isolation that we ordinarily feel about being a separate body personality in a world of separate others. In fact, that statement and all those other statements made by the masters about us being interconnected and one was made in order for us not to just care for one another in a meaningful manner, but to transcend the illusion of separation, the illusion of being a separate body personality in a world of separate others. That is a false definition of life, and it leads to conflict, fear, manipulation, and exploitation, so that we will never have true peace until the collective consciousness of humanity has embraced this oneness. And this truth of oneness, this truth of our Father, transcends all man-made boundaries, all cultural boundaries, all national, racial boundaries are transcended by this truth of our oneness. We are all brothers and sisters in the one intelligence and love that gives us breath and life. And it's incumbent upon each one of us to transcend the illusion that denies that. Because once we transcend the illusion that denies that, we will then gain a joy and a peace that we have always been seeking in the conditions and circumstances outside of us. Joy, peace, wholeness of mind and body cannot be gained outside in the world of medicine. You can get some cures for symptoms that you have along the way. But the fact is, the way we enter into wholeness in body and mind is by transcending that illusion we have lived in too long of separation. And it's out of that illusion that we have our judgment and condemnation, projecting differences that are not really so. There is no real difference. Every human being at the core of his soul energy is a divine child of the present living God and is worthy of fair play, consideration, compassion, caring, truth, and love. That's all there is to it. Everybody that's not doing that is still ignorant, period. So we need to get on board with reality. And to get on board with reality, we are talking about becoming enlightened living beings. And while the number of people seeking enlightenment are astronomical, I mean, and along with the number of people seeking what they call salvation, which would be enlightenment or, God consciousness, or however you want to put it, it's a vast, vast number of people seeking that. But that number drops off exponentially when you bring up the truth that in order to enter into that which you are seeking, you need to love everyone as you love yourself. Oh, what? We had that in Sunday school when we were kids. And then we grew up and we ran away from that because you can't really do that in life. Oh, yeah, you can't really do that in life because, people are strange, they're different, they do bad things. No, if you want to transcend the illusion and the thinking illusion of the world, then at some point you're going to start to do something extraordinary. You have to start to practice something that is not taught in school. It is by faith that you start practicing. Listen to this. If you forget everything else you ever got in a Unity church, or in a Unity book, or in a self-help book, you should take a hold of this. This is your pathway to true life, true love, true healing, true peace. Here it is. Practice looking past the seeming foibles and intrusions of other human beings. Looking past them. Not taking them to task. Not wanting to fix them, punish them, bring justice to them because they're missing it and doing things that are not in keeping with your expectations, your ideas, your personal point of view. That has to be released. If you want light and enlightenment, you want joy, you want peace, you want insight, you want to live effectively, beautifully, and joyfully, then you have only one thing you need to be doing. Looking past all the seeming problems that seem to confront you through other people. Looking past their foibles, their problems, their different points of view. See, that's why I said the number of everybody seeking, true peace, happiness, and enlightenment is astronomical. But when you lay out the path that needs to be followed in order to enter that state of enlightenment, then the numbers drop off exponentially. And we can see that happening in our highly affluent Western culture these days. But that isn't what it's all about. There are pockets of spiritual growth taking place throughout the world. Taking place in America, big time. There are silent sages and masters who are bringing forth a new level of awareness in which the book of Revelations calls the new heaven and the new earth, where they are one. There's no separate heaven that we go to after we leave the earth consciousness. We establish it while we are in the earth, and then that which we look upon in the earth becomes heavenly, blessed, and beautiful. Oh, that sounds like that couldn't happen. It has happened to millions of people that have taken to task their own awareness and changed their experience of living. That's why it's written this way. It's so beautifully written this way. Let me share this with you from A Course in Miracles. You can read this in the old Course in Miracles text on page 163, or in the new edition on 175. God's will is your salvation. Would he not have given you the means to find it? If he wills you to have it, he must have made it possible and easy to obtain it. Your brothers and sisters are everywhere. You do not have to seek far for salvation. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. And that means save yourself from the illusions you have previously been living in. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. Is it possible that this is not also your will? And is it possible that this is not also the will of all of your brothers and sisters? Consider then that in this joint will you are all united, and in this only. There may be disagreement on anything else, but not on this. This then is where peace abides, and you abide in peace when you so decide. Yet you cannot abide in peace unless you accept the at-one-ment, because the at-one-ment is the way to peace. The at-one-ment is a particular special word that A Course in Miracles uses and actually brought to the general vernacular of New Age understanding, at-one-ment, rather than separation. So I'll read this to you again. God's will is your salvation. Would he not have given you the means to find it? If he wills you to have it, he must have made it possible and easy to obtain. Your brothers are everywhere. Your sisters are everywhere. You do not have to seek far for salvation. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. Is it possible that this is not also your will? And is it possible that this is not also the will of all your brothers and sisters? Consider then that in this joint will you are all united, and in this only. There may be disagreement on anything else, but not on this. This then is where peace abides, and you abide in peace when you so decide. Yet you cannot abide in peace unless you accept the at-one-ment, because the at-one-ment is the way to peace. That at-one-ment is the acknowledgement of our interconnectedness, for we are all one in this divine light we recognize as God. It is the light of life. It is the light of creation. It is the light of being, as Eckhart Tolle refers to it. And only by entering into that and opening our awareness to that can we actually enter in to the new heaven and the new earth. We have gone a long time, many people have anyway, gone for a long time, talking about all the terrible things that the world is. But it's only that terrible because this particular point of view has not risen to this higher level of awareness in which you are capable of seeing past the limited, the fear-driven, the poverty, the disease. That one point of view has not risen to that level where it's able to look past, but only by practicing looking past the limited, the fearful, the disease, the sorrowful. Only by being able to look past and practice looking past that, and instead of condemning and blaming, blessing, unconditional blessing. Bestow peace, bestow friendship, bestow love. Walk away if the difficulties are too difficult at that point. At some point, you'll be able to heal every single relationship in your experience. That's what enlightenment is. It's not mind over matter, except in the way I have described it. The New Age thinks that you'll finally be able to use your super intellect to define and set your intentions for your personal well-being and make the world suit you. Here, try this. It's a better way. Take a gun and hold it to the sky and tell God what you want. It's dopey. It's for people who are very young on the path to get started of looking somewhere else for their completion, their happiness, and their truth. But when you're fully on the path, you will know that I and the Father of life and everything that is life is one with my consciousness. And that is the truth that will make you free. Nothing short of that will do it. Okay, we're going to meditate together. And the first part of this is relaxing the mind that is so badly conditioned by the world. Don't try to force thoughts out of your head. Just become present. Allow yourself to be sitting here, enjoying the moment and the peace of this moment. Because as you do that, the incessant thinking of the brain that's forever seeking personal self-interest relaxes. You're not thinking about tomorrow, what you can get done. You're just going to relax right now in this moment and rest in the peace. Because right here in this present moment is all that you need to enter into that higher level, that joy, that acceptance. Right here, right now. So we do that by listening to this beautiful crystal bowl as it energizes our chakras. And then we're going to have a period of silence, about 8 or 10 minutes. In that period of silence, if you don't have a particular meditation technique, you may want to use this idea, this truth, that you gently bring your mind into. Gently bring your mind into this truth. There is only one everything, only one, in you, in me, in all we see. There is only one, only God. There is only one everything, only one, in you, in me, in all we see. There is only one. Only one. Use that mantra. Only one. Only one. Only God. Let us take a few moments to pray for those who have been submitted to our prayer list. As Norma calls the name, just let the impression, healing love, go forth. You may just want to use the words in your mind, healing love.
Maya Cunningham and family. Kyrie. Joe and Grace Gutman. Esther. David. Betty Barford. Kelly Garland. Manuel Giotica. Jennifer Lindquist. Kate Quinn. Jackie Quinn. Serenity and family. Daniel Rivard. Gail Wagoner. Steve Taylor. Sandy Spahn. Michael Morphy. Shad Daniel and family. Sandra Perko. Dan James. Mira Morrison. Kate Beltrami. Melinda. Michael S. Dell and family. Robert David Edmonds. Sarah Edmonds. Jeffrey Edmonds. David Wow. Ruth. The United States government. Air, water, earth, all life on planet Earth. And you can call out a name at this time if you would like to. We see this healing light surrounding the prayer box and all the people's names that have been submitted throughout the month. We see them healed physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Let us now recognize this divine healing awareness rising in the consciousness of everyone sharing this Boulder community with us. And this divine healing consciousness rising in the awareness of everyone sharing the state of Colorado with us. And this divine healing consciousness flowing into the awareness of every human being in these United States of America, and moving through all the nations of the world, on all the continents of the world. Divine healing awareness of our oneness, establishing wholeness and peace. And this divine awareness creating harmony and healing with all the creatures on planet Earth, and all the trees and the mountains and the vegetation, all the minerals and the waterways and the marine life. Everything returning to this divine creative awareness, the presence of God as love. As we pray, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and God is love. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. And if you're new, just to explain that we do have a basket in the lobby. If you want to make a physical offering, you can place it in that basket on the way out. We also have credit card dip jars. So you can dip your credit card to make a donation to Unity of Boulder. And those of you that are watching online and on screen, on YouTube and Facebook, if you don't have the tab on your particular page that you can press to make a donation, you can go to unityofboulder.com. Actually, yeah, it's info@unity.com. And there you have several ways you can make a donation. And we certainly appreciate it because it allows us to continue to do the ministry here in Boulder. So as we take our offerings to mind, how much we'd like to donate to the continuation of the ministry of Unity of Boulder, let us bless this offering with this offering statement. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
If we could just hold the planet in our mind and see the coronavirus leaving this planet, really see it leaving. There is so much love around us. If we just open up our heart, it's waiting to come in. It's waiting to come in. There is so much love around us. If we just open up our heart, it's waiting to come in. It's waiting to come in now.
Thank you for joining us. Share the good news of the presence of God in every person, in every place, in every condition. Good night.